But right now we're going to have a chat with Pip Scott-Allen from Premier Team Building. We're going to be talking about strengthening your team post-COVID. Good afternoon, Pip.
Good afternoon. Thank you so very much for having me today.
Well, thank you for joining us. So with our unemployment so low, wouldn't it be easier to hire people down the line than work on our present team?
Well, you're right. With unemployment being so high and most likely growing, it will be very easy to find people to fill a role. However, with the high demand we're going to have, people are inevitably going to be applying for every job because they're looking for money. And that's a big difference that a lot of leaders and businesses need to keep in mind is we prefer people who want to work for us versus people who want to be paid by us. So if you're able to retain your staff now, you're most likely going to have a group of individuals who want to be working for you. They believe in you versus having to wade your way through all those inevitable applications and CVs of people who are looking for a job.
So what would be the key for me to do with my team to strengthen them during this critical time?
The most important thing is to continue to develop that bond and mutual respect with your team. We all understand right now that stresses are super high, and that's fair. We're all feeling the pressure right now. But we need to make sure that our teams understand where we're coming from, and we need to keep clear communication with our staff. So it'd be really beneficial for all employers to have genuine conversations with their staff, get their feedback of ideas of how we can move forward. Because when the team is going to feel invested by you, the leader, they're more likely to help you grow. And that's going to allow a lot of businesses to remain afloat and continue to grow through this pandemic and post it.
And I would imagine that as a leader, as a team manager, it would be very important to keep a positive attitude rather than reflecting on a lot of the negativity.
100%. When you start going down that rabbit hole of negativity, which in all fairness, it's super easy to do right now. It's kind of hard to be positive. But when we do that, there's going to be some fallout when we take that out on our staff, either deliberately or overtly, but it's also going to come to the customers. They're going to feel it. And when a customer walks into a business or deals with someone over the phone and they feel that negativity, it's not a business that they're going to build that confidence to buy a product. So it's a massive trickle-down effect. So it's important to keep your head high and remember, you got this. We're going to get through it, but we've got to have the right team with us.
And you talked about feedback. How should one handle feedback, new ideas or criticism during this time?
Definitely. One of the mantras, per se, that we use with a lot of our coaching and team events is, okay, how? So anytime someone gives you feedback, especially at a time like this, don't dismiss it. The answer should always be, okay, how? And that's when you start to open that line of communication. So if your team members are saying, hey, I've got some new ideas, or you say, how do we approach this new challenging time? Someone gives you an idea, say, okay, how do we do this? It passes the ownership back onto them. And by saying, okay, you as a leader invest yourself already. So you're more interested in the concept. If you say, no, that's not how we do it, you're never going to reevaluate that. So always approach it with, okay, how? Come across some amazing new, unique ideas. You might not get the first one right, but there will be a grain of truth in there somewhere, and you'll get a golden nugget, I'm sure.
Yeah, and of course, culture is very important in an organisation. How can one build strong culture at this time?
Get to know your team. That's been one of my things I've been pushing a lot recently with clients and on social media, is to learn who they are and who their support network is. Do they have a spouse, pets, children, hobbies? Take a few minutes out of your day to get to know your team and build those connections. By doing that, you're spending time, and time is value. So if you're willing to get to know your team, learn about their interests, their loved ones, they're going to feel valued, and it's going to really just pay dividends greatly for you moving forward. Another little thing I say is, if you have team members working long days, send thank you cards home to their loved ones, to their children, to say thank you for allowing your partner to spend more time at work. I can't do it without them, and thank you for your sacrifice. Little things like that is a great way to build culture because it shows you care and that you view your employees as more than just a cog in the machine.
And a lot of businesses are really challenged at the moment financially. Money's tight. Is now the time to really be focusing in on developing your team?
I still say yes, but you need to spend wisely. And this is something that I recommend to people, regardless of the COVID pandemic. Be honest and upfront with whatever training programs you're going to be doing. Now as money is being tight, specify exactly what outcomes you want out of this and make sure that whoever you're employing to either help you develop your team or do some coaching, they're going to be able to meet those expectations. Be very frivolous with who you go with. You want to make sure you're spending it wisely because some simple numbers is if you have to replace somebody, the average cost on the very bottom line to simply rehire somebody is $5,000 per employee. But the impact to a business and its reputation by having a high turnover can be, in excess of $60,000 per person you lose. So it's not whether or not if you can afford to spend it now, it's whether or not you can afford it for the long term. Because if you lose people, it's going to cost you so much more, and you'll lose that reputation because customers won't have that confidence in you. So it's definitely the time to build your team, strengthen them, make them feel that they are the core to your business, and you'll see the returns greatly.
And as you said, if you do lose team members, there will be plenty of people lining up, but are they really wanting to work for your company or just there for the money?
That's it. It's a needle in a haystack, and that's going to be a big problem that many employers are going to have is wading through all those people who are applying for jobs. I know individuals who are applying for every single job they can on Seek and all those different platforms because they need money.
Need work,
and that's a good big thing.
Yeah, great. Well, thanks very much for your time, Pip. We'll have a chat with you another time.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Pip Scott Allen there with some little tips about building our team, strengthening our team. And, of course, it is very difficult times at the moment. And I heard a comment from someone the other day that said they didn't like going into work because everything was so negative. So it is important to try and keep that positive atmosphere. And you're listening to Business, the Law and You.